Alright everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily Jones, former paparazzi consultant. Now I just speak out against paparazzi, and let's get the party started. But first of all, disclaimer time. The cover my butt portion of the program. So, the reason I speak out against multi-level marketing companies is because I fell victim to one. I have encouraged other people who have fallen victim to one to be brave enough to share their stories and to help educate other consumers about the deceptive practices of multi-level marketing. And with that, let's get the party started. Hey girl, hey! No, I'm kidding. So, direct sales news, the DSN weekly, and their April newsletter thingamajigger. So they had their little convention last month, and I thought it was interesting to see something here. So these are the people that were supportive of direct sales. So there's For Life, Amer Global, Ambient Energy, Amway, Airbond, Bellamy, BM, Faster Way, Mary Kay, New Life, Oriflame, Princess House, never heard of that one, Pure Romance, QNet, TLC, USANA, something I've never heard of, and another thing I've never heard of. And then we've got in the gold level, and this is based on what they donate to this network, okay? And Direct Sales Network is a lobbyist firm. I'm learning more and more about this. ACN, Immunotech, In-Group International, Manitech, Monate, Nora, Sensi, Zingular. Ooh. Then we look at who's in the platinum level, and it's Awakened, Pharmacy, It Works, Plexus, Prove It, Scene Gents, and Young Living. That was also extremely very telling. So, I go on here and I read what's going on now in the direct selling networks. Ballrooms to stadiums. Our team specializes in direct sell events of all sizes. Yeah. Well, guess what? You're not going to be needing stadiums much longer, let alone ballrooms, but, you know. Paparazzi can't even get a little hotel conference room filled up for the dorks, but again, I don't blame them there. And, you know, I just keep flipping through this, and they're like, look at all these awesome things you can do. So, this is nothing but propaganda, in my humble opinion. What does and doesn't motivate today's direct seller? What doesn't motivate us as direct sellers? Well, today I'm coming to you to discuss the sunk cost fallacy. Okay, sunk cost fallacy through behavior. Okay, this is something that a lot of us who get involved in direct sell marketing, multi-level marketing companies, are like, well, we've already invested this much, might as well keep going. Okay. And honestly, that shouldn't happen. Okay, individuals commit the sunk cost fallacy when they continue a behavior as a result of invested resources such as time, money, and effort. Now, with multi-level marketing, it's all three. You invest your time, you put effort into something, and you invest your money. Okay? The fallacy, which is related to a loss aversion or a status quo basis, can also be viewed as a bias from an ongoing commitment. Okay? And why do we keep doing this if it's not paying anything? Okay? So I'm just going to share a little story. When David and I first started dating, his brother, who I cannot stand, half-brother, not full brother, half-brother, told us, hey, you should go see this movie. It's really cute. You would like it. Now, it was an animated movie, and it was something for 3-year-olds, you guys. The movie was called Dougal or something, and oh my God, I wanted to gouge my eyes out in that movie. David and I were so bored, and we're like, what the hell was he thinking? Why did he recommend this movie? I mean, and, you know, the more I think about it now, I think he recommended that movie to see if we were going to do what he said. Because this is the person who is so narcissistic and so controlling and so belittling and so degrading that I think he did it just to get a rise out, to see, ooh, I can get him to go see this shit movie. Yeah, Rodney, I'm talking about you. All right, so back to the sunk cost fallacy. David and I had paid for the movie ticket, and we had already spent time. I can't remember if we walked out of that movie or not. I think we stayed till the end, and we were like, seriously? Dave, did we walk out of that movie?
I don't think I've ever walked out.
So no, we didn't walk out. We stayed, unfortunately. So that's an example of sunk cost fallacy. You spent $10, $12, $17, $20 on a movie ticket, and you sit through it even though it's mind-numbingly boring and you don't want to keep watching it, but you feel like, well, I've already spent this much time and money. I might as well just keep going. And that's something that multi-level marketing companies thrive upon, is that thought process, okay? Imagine, you guys, individual effects of what the sunk cost fallacy is, okay? You've made so many friends in paparazzi. Oh, well, if I leave, I'm going to lose all these friends. Well, you could lose more if you stay, but they don't see it that way, okay? So in economic terms, sunk costs are costs that have already been incurred, but we can't recover. For example, you spend $99 on a starter kit. You open that starter kit, and half of the stuff in there is stuff you couldn't even sell, and you wouldn't give it away, okay? You couldn't sell it, and you couldn't give it away, okay? So that's $99 that you spent. So you go live, you try to recover some of the costs, and if you were acting rationally after you go live and try to recover some of your costs, but nobody wants to buy any of that stuff either, but because you already placed a few orders before you got your kit, you're already in more than that $99. You're in maybe closer to $200 or $300 at that point if you bought the $99 kit and placed a few orders while you were waiting for that kit, because they motivate you to get in there and buy right away. Okay? But after we get some of those items in from, say, paparazzi, and we try to sell it and it's not selling, and then all of a sudden we have inventory piling up, what do? Do we take a look around and think this isn't sustainable and reach out to paparazzi and cancel our account? No, we don't. We're like, oh, we're just getting started. We need to trust the process and keep going. We need to, work harder and try new things and build our followers up and ask people to like and share our lives, and on and on and on and on and on. Okay? But the outcome you get is not going to make you happy in most cases. Okay? So what is another effect of sunk cost fallacy? Well, gosh, do you guys remember the plane that looked like a seagull? Was it the Concorde? Is that the plane that looked like a seagull flying, and it went at like supersonic, babe?
Like a seagull? Yeah, the Concorde was supersonic.
So yeah, the supersonic airplanes that I know British Airways had, and I believe a French airline had the supersonic, and it was a transatlantic flight. And I remember these flights were super duper expensive, and they weren't in the air very long. In fact, they retired the whole Concorde project like 10, maybe 20 years ago, because it was a sunk cost. It was a waste of money. And after 30 years of wasting taxpayer money to cater to the rich and people who could afford these flights, it was enough is enough, okay? They finally said, we're done. We're not going to continue to throw good money after bad. And I've had videos about the enough is enough conversation too. But why aren't we looking at our situation sooner and looking at what we are losing versus what commitment we're putting into something? Okay, the reasons we're not following through on the decisions leads to a feeling of loss, feeling of a place of weakness. People don't want to admit that they're throwing good money after bad. They don't want to admit that they're making a mistake. They don't want to admit that they weren't successful, even though they worked their ass off and they tried really, really hard. They couldn't see that it wasn't working. And that's the other thing, is we are hidden and secured and sheltered from the actual truth of what direct sales marketing does, what multi-level marketing does. I mean, from Aruba, there was a person who was going live from Aruba saying, you could do this with us next year. You can join us at Leadership Summit next year. And you guys, I mean, no. I saw that video. Thank you, Yolanda, for kind of letting me know about it. I went and found it. And I'm sorry, but no. No. Not everybody is you, Carla. Not everybody is you. Not everybody has Erica Cole in their downline. Not everyone has Andrea Hutchinson in their downline. Not everyone has those little cash cows getting them to Leadership Summit. Okay? So that's a false statement, and it needs to be called out. I'm sorry, but unless you get in early and build your team and manipulate and take advantage of others, you're never going to make it to Leadership Summit. It's wrong. So why is it important that we talk about sunk cost fallacy? Is because it impacts every single aspect of our daily life, okay? We have decisions that we make that affect us in the short term, in the long term, moment by moment by moment, okay? Some of the decisions we make, and I'm talking about myself here, are irrational, and they have really terrible outcomes. And then we are focused on past investments instead of what the future and what the cost-benefit analysis is going to be. Instead, we destroy our financial future because we were sold a bill of goods. Talking about myself here, right here. Yes, me. Okay? It's a vicious cycle, and we continue to invest our money. We continue to invest our time in every single paycheck we earn. We continue to invest our effort and things that we've already invested in other things. And the more we put into it, the more we feel we have to continue. And then one day you look around and you're like, I got to stop this. And that's the hard thing, is most of us don't come to the realization that we have to cut the cord, knock it off, put the tourniquet on, stop the bleeding, stitch up the wound, and heal. Okay, so how do we avoid these fallacies? Well, if we're aware of a sunk cost fallacy happening in our life, we should focus and concentrate on the actions instead of feelings of being wasteful, feelings of being guilty, feelings of failing, feelings of dropping other commitments. I believe studies have shown when we make decisions based on emotions, the effects of the sunk cost fallacy are reduced. But when we make decisions based on factual data, they are increased. You stop with the sunk cost fallacy. So stop making decisions based on emotion. Look at the facts. Look at the data. And I've said this a lot in the last couple of weeks, do a profit and loss statement. Get a Schedule C from the IRS and go through it line by line. Get your receipts, put them together. Take inventory of what you have sitting in your home. How many pieces of jewelry do you have versus how many you have sold? Keep track of how much you've bought, Go into your back office and look at every single piece of jewelry you have purchased from paparazzi. And then look at every single piece of jewelry you have still sitting in your house. And then take a look at how many pieces you've actually sold. Then take a look at how many pieces you've actually given away. Okay? Make that decision based on the data. Okay? That is how you start to recover from this, and this is how you start to avoid the sunk cost. When you sit and you look at the facts, okay? Facts are not a tax, and I love that Aaron B says that, and I'm going to use it. Facts are not a tax, okay? They are just simply pointing out the truth, and it's really hard sometimes to do that, okay? So seriously sit down, take a look at your situation. Everybody's situation is different. I don't know what your situation looks like. Only you know what your situation looks like. I know what my situation looked like. Okay? I know what my situation looked like. I know how much I'd spent. I know how much I had sold. I know how much I had given away. I know how much came destroyed, broken, or not usable. Okay? So take an honest look at the situation that you are in. Take an honest look at what you've got going on around you. Look at how much time you're spending and account for it. Every time you go live, set a timer. Keep track of the time you spend. I mean, you can get one of those little stopwatches that you can start and stop and start again to log your time. Take that with you. Every time you go to fill an order, start the timer. Every time you're driving to the post office to drop off that order, start the timer. Look at how much time you're actually spending. Okay? If you want to, have 2 timers. Look at how much you're spending with your family. Look at how much you're spending on your paparazzi business. Every time you take that bling bag with you, you know you're working. So you're always on. Set the timer, okay? But the most important way to get away from something that you are sinking money into and not seeing a viable rate of return, and you start realizing that, oh, you've been sitting in a boring movie for more than 30 minutes, get up and walk away. In some cases, you can ask for your money back. In other cases, it's a waste of a movie ticket. But here's the thing, you didn't waste 2.5 hours on a bad movie. Okay? You got up and you went and did something else. You made an educated choice that you're going to not do this anymore. Okay? And that's something that this article, what does and doesn't motivate today's direct seller? Well, I will say what doesn't motivate people is being lied to. Okay? Direct selling is poised for growth. I feel that this article is a lie. I don't think it is poised for growth. Considering that the Pure Romance guy came out and said that direct selling is dying because of the anti-MLM movement. Let's keep it up. All right, let's look at this. Reasons for gig economy. What's a reason for a gig economy? Because people aren't being paid a living wage. That's a little bit of an issue there, okay? So, not being paid a living wage. Employers taking advantage of us and expecting us to work overtime. You know, because they don't want to hire another body when they can take advantage and burn out the bodies they have. You know, it's just, it drives me nuts that corporations continue to take advantage of hardworking Americans while they line their own pockets through the work that we do. Okay? So, direct selling is one of those things. It's corporations, these corporations who thrive on the direct selling model. They take advantage of people through their hard work without really paying a good portion of them. And they've said it themselves. They've started saying the quiet part out loud that, the end user is their consultants or their distributors or their independent consultants or whatever stigma or name they want to put on it. That's how they make their money. They don't ever expect their product to go to an end user. They just expect it to go to the consultants and leave it at that. That's how they make their money. Okay? So this lobbyist newsletter where they talk about all this culty crap and, build people up and lift people up through their stupid lies and half-truths. I'm sorry, no. I'm not going to believe anything in this newsletter because I think it's all puffery, pat on the backery, make everyone who's in a direct selling company feel good about themselves. But this is the kind of newsletter where they name drop each other. I was featured in Direct Sales magazine. Ooh, ah. Look at all these supplier directories. Look at all this wonderful stuff. Ooh, ah. So if you want to do a cruise with your direct sell people, we've got Royal Caribbean. Ooh, ah. I mean, no. So that's an interesting link. You just type in direct selling news and you can see all the puffery that goes on in there. But I wanted you guys to take an honest look and see where you're at with your side hustle, your gig, all right? IRS Schedule C. And if you don't know how to do it, just type up IRS Schedule C form. You can print one up. You can do one on your computer. You can even fill it out online. But you can look and see what you're spending versus what you're making. And then go through every single piece of inventory that you have hanging on that peg hook behind you when you go live, or in that shoe box that you have hidden in the closet so your spouse or significant other doesn't know how much inventory you have. Go through and look at every single piece and do a profit and loss. If you are not making money, but you have lost money, and if you have more than 70% of what you purchased from Paparazzi or any other MLM and you haven't sold it, if your sales are less than 20%, you're in a lose-lose situation. You're buying too much and you're not making anything. Okay? And I just want you guys to be honest with your situation. I just want you to be honest with yourself and take a good look at where you're at. Because it's not easy to admit that you made a mistake. It never is. But it's empowering when you do. And it's empowering when you share your story with others. And it's empowering when you encourage others to also look at their situation and be honest with themselves. And that's all I'm really asking you to do, is take a really good, honest look at what you've done. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you've enjoyed today's content. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. Bye.